Hello there, folks. Kirk and Jay here with Kirk Giordano Plaster. Today, I want to show you an issue that these folks are having, and they were concerned why. You guys might have the same issue. I thought I'd explain it because I know the reason why this happened. Look at this house here. Okay, you see the wall here. I looked at the texture and I said, well, gee whiz, somebody put a color coat finish, and it's probably Chablis or French vanilla, over a house that had this type of a finish right here. It's a painted stucco finish, and you pressure wash, you apply a bonding agent, and then you put a maintenance-free skip trowel finish. What does maintenance-free skip trowel finish mean? Well, like a brick, the brick gets wet, it darkens, and when drier conditions occur, it goes right back to its original state. This has been on for over 20 years, and it's going to stay on for 100 more. Why did this part come off? The homeowner said, well, gee, how come this is staying on and this is not? That's the easy question, guys. You get a fella right now, they're mowing lawns all over here. There's a lot of lawns. The dirt goes up in the air, it settles. Where does it settle? It settles on porches, windowsills, roofs, you name it. So what they did was they pressure washed this right here. They didn't pressure wash this well enough. And so what's happening is it's all coming off. And how do you really get it all off? Well, if you do what I'm doing right here, that's a start. But I also have a pressure washer with me. That the pressure washer is it's a gas one. It's 35 or 3,000 psi. Plus I have a turbo tip on it. Now, what they also had here is they had a line going this way, and they had a bunch of caulking on it. You see that caulking? I've already removed it. And what I said is, gee, all this caulking, guys, that's not a fix. Caulking that's okay. See, they caulked it right here, and they thought, well, gee, that'll hold it. That's not going to hold it, nor cosmetically is it going to make it look attractive. So what I did was I took my handy-dandy rod. I took a grinder with a diamond blade, put it here, and just grinded a line in there. Why did we grind a line in there? This is a natural expansion joint now. So now we got a natural expansion joint separating the two different substrates. This is the house, this is the concrete steps. So the two are moving. This way it allows them to continue to move. Now, I'm going to go ahead and keep taking this off here. You see how this stuff comes off? Caulking was not really the right method to repair this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a pressure washer. And here's what they should have done 20 years ago. You pressure wash not only this part, you pressure wash here and here. This removes all the dust, dirt, grime, moss. And when you place a bonding agent on that surface that's clean enough to eat off, that's you want a surface. If you're going to apply a bonding agent, I tell folks this and they always laugh, but you want that surface clean enough to eat off. That way your bonding agent really adheres. That way your next color coat really adheres. So I'm going to do some prep work here. And when I take my pressure washer and I start pressure washing this, I'm going to pressure wash this way. What happens if I pressure wash, say, this way? The pressure washer is so strong, I will take off the finish here. I don't want to take that finish off. And lastly, I said this is either Chablis or French vanilla. I can look at a patch right here, and I talked to the homeowner. I said, who did this? And was it done within 10 years? He says, yeah, how'd you know? I said, I can tell because it's a different color. Our color, even though it is French vanilla, I put my color chart up to it, and it says French vanilla. I've got the French vanilla. I said, well, gee, we'll do it, and we'll fill this. This will keep moving, and that's okay, but it'll separate the two. And the color I'm going to put here is also French vanilla. Will it match this one when it dries completely? No. It'll be a tint or two lighter or darker. But anyway, I thought I'd show just some of the preliminary steps that you have to do. And you got to know about this stuff because application is 30%. Knowledge is the other 70% to know what the heck you're doing before you even get started. So all you folks who send me things and say, gee whiz, how come the porch separated but the house didn't? It's separated because they didn't pre-wash this well enough and didn't consider the fact that dust settles here and comes down and just a natural course of things. So we're going to go ahead and mix up some color coat, take this off, and I'll show you how we spread it out and match it in. Okay guys, we're going to spread this out. First I'm going to show you what we use. See this tip right here? This is called a turbo tip, guys. It gives it a lot of extra force. So we got 3,000 psi plus that turbo tip to get this off. Everything came off with that tip there. In fact, if you touch it, it'll make you bleed. It'll go through your boot. As far as the color, Jay just mixed this color up. Here's how you can tell if the color is going to match, guys. Quick tip. Okay, you wet the wall. I'm going to wet the wall right here. Then you put it up to it. And that's it's the right color because they happen to have the same contract, but it's 20 years later. Okay, so we're going to take the color coat and I'm going to spread it using a swimming pull trowel. This pull trowel has got a square end right here. It's not a complete radius. I've been using these for 20 years, kind of partial to them. This blue stuff, that's a bonding agent. Nothing adheres without a bonding agent, but a bonding agent is only as good as what it's gone over. If you go over a dusty wall with a bonding agent, it's useless. So just for the sake of spreading this out, I'll show you how we do it. Now, earlier I was showing you guys the crack. That expansion joint I created. Yeah, I created the expansion joint, but if Jay points to that expansion joint, you'll see I filled that expansion joint with a caulking. Now that particular caulking I used for that expansion joint is called Qiikrete High Flex. It dries within an hour. So while it's dried, I then put Qiikrete over that. Why would I go through such extremes? Because the Qiikrete will allow this color coat to adhere to the caulking. Because this is a color coat, it's a maintenance-free finish here. So basically, I created an expansion joint. This is always going to flex. It's going to flex like that. So when it rains and the ground lifts and these two separate, that's going to lift and move with it. So we don't get that nasty crack there. Can it re-crack? Absolutely. No amount of caulking is going to stop a 100-ton home and say a 20-ton porch from moving. It doesn't work that way. Ground movement, it will also move. You do the best you can with what you have available, but you have to use common sense too, and note that what we're doing right here is purely cosmetic and has no structural strength, but it's going to look a lot prettier than it did before. So what I do is I'm using the exact same color they used. I'm using the same grit they used. And you say, gee, what's the grit? Well, the grit is either fine, which is silica sand, 2030, which is medium, or 1620. That's just technical talk for stucco. 1620 being the heaviest grit available. Now, if we were to take you around the house, you would see why they went with this heavy texture. This heavy texture was done everywhere because this house had it had a lot of patchwork. They had several different contractors that had an idea of what they were doing, but they weren't all that great. And if you're not all that great, you leave an eyesore of a patch. Left a couple in my time. You don't get pretty good not leaving a patch or two that you have to correct. That builds wisdom. When you have to redo something, you think, gee whiz, I don't want to do that again. And that's how you learn. So everybody makes a mistake. What you don't want to keep doing is making them. You make your mistake once, you do a bad patch, you end up having to fix it. Well, that's the beginning of wisdom, but if you keep doing that, then you stay stupid. Anyway, I'm feathering in this little bit right here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow this, say, 5 minutes to dry. And 5 minutes right now, I'm feeling the sun. It's absorbing the moisture right out of here. It's about 75 degrees, kind of nice. I'm going to get a brush and brush this in and switch trowels, get rid of my Congo trowel and grab a smaller trowel. And in one minute, I'll show you how we texture this. All right, guys, went and got myself a handy dandy brush. It doesn't have to be a pretty brush, it's like $1 brush. And what you do is just feather this in, and you always wet the wall first when you're feathering a color into a color, even if it's the same color. You wet that wall first, that way it blends in better. And you just use your brush and clean it up. Clean up all the little stuff here. And again, what I told the folks here is, well, we can pretty that up. We can make it a lot nicer. And we can do everything within our power to stop it from re-cracking. But it can. All right. Now what I'm going to do is switch trowels. I'm going to notice this trowel here. It's 20 inches. It's kind of big. You guys, if you're homeowners, go with these right here. 12 by 5, square, easier to handle. Now I'm going to go to a 16-inch trowel. Why? Because I like using a 16. I started using them about 25 years ago when I did swimming pools, and I've been with them ever since. Okay, so we're going to texture this to match that finish there. Now, I'm going to start way over here because I'm going to work from left to right. Now, I told her we could match the finish real close, but you know, there's always somebody who can say, well, gee whiz, that's not a perfect match. Well, unless you do it that day, it's almost incredibly difficult to get a perfect match. But seeing that I was done about, I don't know, 1,000 different textures, homes, additions, you name it, I'm pretty good at this stuff here. So I'm going to take it down, and I'm pulling it. And if you notice what they got, they had a fellow do exactly what I'm doing. I once did a job where the guy says, gee, nobody could match that finish. And I said, that's because the guy is going with his left hand. So I matched it. I just used switched hands. So anyway, we'll put a little bit of extra mud here. And generally, because I'm a texture, I don't want to spill any, going over like that. Now when this dries, it'll match that because it always goes on darker. Paint is different from these porous finishes. Porous finishes go on dark, and when they dry, like a brick, they lighten up. So I'm just skipping it just the way these fellas skip theirs. And keep in mind, they put a heavy skip trowel finish because they were hiding some stuff. It wouldn't do the homeowner any justice for me to show all those bad patches here and there because that just wouldn't be nice. Anyway, we'll take it down, and when I get one more hawkful, I'll show you how we complete it. And you look at it, can I have waited an extra hour or two? Yeah. Could I mean, I put this on pretty much immediately, but what I do is, if I had waited another hour, this would have all been dried and light, I could have did it, but if I put it on immediately, I just put the texture on a little heavier. So we put the texture on a little bit heavier, and I can do it immediate. Okay, right when I come into this joint here, I'm going to do something that a little bit different. Okay, the joint. I'm going to take this down here, make it heavy. I'm making it heavy. Okay, now we're going to go straight up here and tie the two in. And of the joint, I'm just going to go vertically. Vertically and at a different different level. That way, between the two of these, you can see they're a bit separate, and they are going to move differently because one's a porch and one's a wall, and they are not connected. So they're always going to move, guys. Anyway, you see where I'm going with that. And more importantly, when you folks call me and say, gee whiz, how come the house is still on and the porch is not? Well, porches, you have to take into consideration the fact that moss, dirt, and everything is up here, and you've got to really do your prep a little bit better. Anyhow, my name is Kirk. Jason on the camera. We thank you for watching this quick little fix. And as usual, we'll see you guys on the next one. Once again, folks, we thank you for watching, and I really enjoy all your comments.
If you guys like this video, please click the like button down below. And also, if you enjoy what we do, subscribe to our channel so we can keep making these videos for you.
My name is Kirk.
And Jay.
We thank you for watching, and from the entire Giordano family, we'll see you on the next one.